And this is really, really, really important. I look at this as, if you're not willing to sit down and do a solid strategic plan in a business and really have a growth plan, really know what you're going to do, know what you're building, it is very difficult to create a systemized company. Because if you cannot build a company and have a platform where the business works without you, you're going to get to that point in retirement, 50, 60, 65 years old, want to sell the company, and then someone's going to come to you or you're going to try to sell the thing. Well, am I buying a business or am I buying your job? Exactly what happened with my dad. I bought a job and I created a business. Because if you're not willing to build out a business that works without you and do this strategically, you're much better off keeping a job. Where you get, people still have, some people, 401ks, profit sharing, full insurance, a steady paycheck. That's why I call this between playing business and truly building a business. Because we've come across many business owners where they get up to their 50s, 60s, 72 years old, where they get to a point and they have nothing to sell. The system has to drive the business, the people run the systems. Always look to a system solution before a people solution. Make sense? Okay. So, what I'm going to break down now is the content. We have the context, the model of the business. And we're going to be getting a little more into the model of the business when we get into systems. But the different parts of the business, the marketing, the finance, the systems, the sales, leadership skills, strategy and strategic planning. And a lot of business owners don't really get into this too deeply because they don't know it that well and they're not comfortable in that area. But kind of like a part of a prerequisite if you want to become a fighter pilot is not being scared of heights and probably having 20/20 vision. This kind of stuff is just, it's what you have to learn. It's part of being a true business owner. Because if you're in your business, if you're cleaning the windows, you're constantly doing striping vehicles or swinging the hammer, who the hell is running the business? Someone has to steer the ship. If no one's steering the ship, I mean, you know how that, put a couple ships out on the sea, put them out without a pilot, let the rudder just go, drop the hammer down, and see what happens to each of these boats. They're all going to crash. Plus, you have to look at what is your value per hour as a business owner. Where do you have the most value? Sometimes it's fun to do those little things. And I do those little things all the time because I built myself out of the business. But what are those key things that you have to do first? You have to get good at these things. At least enough to be dangerous, like on marketing. Like, I don't know the exact mechanics on everything. That's why I hired Ray. On technology and the like, we source that stuff out. Why in the living hell would I sit down there and become a IT guru and not running the company, right? We're only one body. You can only do one thing or the other. We can only concentrate on one thing at a time. And if we're looking at really growing a business and not playing business, but building out a business, we have to look at where is our time best used. You can always make more money, you cannot make more time. And kind of like an overgrown shrub, after a while, if you let the business run wild for a while, kind of like a shrub that you let grow out for years and years, when you have something like that, can you just trim it, or do you have to chop the son of a gun down? It gets to the point where you have to chop the thing down and start over. Then you get to a point where all the swinging of the hammer, doing the stuff, the work of your business, working in the business rather than on it, that's when you start paying the piper for this kind of stuff. And when you start with a clear plan, when you start with a strategic plan, you know what you know where you're going. Is the plan going to be perfect? A plan is never perfect. Never perfect. But it's a hell of a lot closer than if you don't have anything. Make sense?